look at a ban and pick up a lot of the same things with maybe a few changes to do like Vox and didn't Crow got a little bit of a buff this update, didn't he?
Cruel got a massive buff in my opinion. Not only did his cooldown on his perk get reduced from 1.5 seconds to 1 second before it's activated, but the speed boost got upgraded from, I believe, from 2 to 2.5, I think, or something like that percent. Either way, he's got a massive buff on his perk, which means roaming around the map on both 3v3 and 5v5 does give Cruel a strong advantage. And engaging onto his enemies, it kind of feels like he actually won't need the Shiver Steel pickup, if that makes sense, because he's going to be able to get onto the enemies and apply that slow a lot quicker. So I think it's going to be a hero that's going to be picked up. And also, while we're waiting for Feroxx to go for their first ban, another hero that I think is going to be actually quite strong in this patch is going to be Flicker. Flicker got a massive buff.
Oh man, I remember back in the day when Flicker first came out, how nasty it was. Someone picking up the Flicker, because back then I was a tier. So I rocked out the Flicker, and I'd go like 21-2 on average, like 9 out of 10 games.
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah,
oh, snap.
And her movement speed has been increased. The Will-O-Wisper, on her perk, she will have true sight while stealthed, which means she's going to be able to see vision. She's going to be able to see what's in front of her a lot better. And then the cooldown has been, although the cooldown has been increased on her moon cloak, the duration of the stealth has been increased as well. So when she activates that ability, it's going to be really strong stuff. I do apologize. We seem to be having a slight issue with the draft, guys. We're going to look to see if we can get it sorted out for you, maybe find out what the actual issue is. So, yeah. And also, when we talk about the Cruel and Flicker, I think they're two heroes that work really well together in getting onto the enemy team. So I think the pairing of those two with maybe a very mobile backline hero, like maybe even a CP Vox.
I was about to say that. Awesome.
Yeah,
my mind. I love it.
Because you think CP Vox with the great AoE damage, with a Cruel and a Flicker in the front line, just basically slowing down the enemy team and getting onto them. Man, that is actually a combo that I'm really gonna try, and I think will be dangerous on the fold. So yeah. But other than that, why don't you kind of give us an idea of what other heroes you would like to see based on the changes?
Oh, based on the changes.
If you remember many of them, because I know there's been a lot, in fairness.
I've seen a lot of plays, doing a little bit of ranked gameplay since it came out. Of course, I've been doing a lot of 5v5 because that's the new thing.
Yeah, I know, but we're not here to talk about 5v5.
But I've been seeing a lot of Kashka, and Kashka just seems really strong this update, even stronger than before. Just the aggression early game, the power coming out from her is just It's disgusting to watch sometimes.
I couldn't have summed up a better word. I was literally thinking disgusting. She really is, because, even though she was definitely viable in the last patch, I think she kind of fell off compared to, let's say, other jungle heroes, and especially as we saw, Dragon's Eye was really powerful, and still is powerful, but the jungle position tended to be held by somebody like a Sky, Batiste, a ranged hero. So yeah, with her getting a buff, I think she's definitely going to be very strong in the meta. Another hero, as we are just getting another link for the draft, so we will look to continue and kind of stop waffling on too much about random stuff. But I think it's good to we see Fox being banned, taken off the table. Snap. I think Feroxx is thinking that she's dangerous, or sorry, he's dangerous. Let's take him off the table because we are afraid to go up against CP Vox.
Yeah, the CP Vox is just like I was saying, that the buff that he got to where his basic attacks now do a 50% CP ratio rather than the 0% they used to do, it makes him so much more stronger than he used to be in the past, because you have that burst damage even without the alternating current. But put that alternating current on there, every other attack, you have massive CP damage coming out, and just the stacks from the Dragon's Eye just make all that damage build up, and it just becomes mayhem if you get grouped up too close.
Exactly. So we see Grace being picked up on the side of Devious Affinity, followed by Ringo. These two heroes didn't really get changed too much. Grace got a very slight nerf. The cooldown increase on the Holy Nova, and with her Retribution, the basic attacks now use the same Benediction version. So it's nothing too different, and I don't think it's nothing that's too crazy. Ringo, again, really didn't get changed much. I think he's going to be just as strong. Batiste ban coming out from Feroxx, what do you make of that? Do you think that maybe should have been something like a Black Feather, or...
Ooh, I'm thinking maybe a Black Feather, or even the Koshka, because while Koshka can dish out that nice damage onto the Baptiste, if Koshka's trying to go into those backlines and get past the sustained tankiness of that Baptiste, that Ordain can kind of shut her down. Even though you can get a reflex block that Ordain, you want to be able to save that for some kind of like a Holy Nova from the Grace or something like that.
Yeah,
and what I do find, want to be able to get that backlines.
You do, and what I do find is that Devious have banned the Rhyme. Rhyme hasn't been too super in a meta in the last patch. I don't know 100% what his changes are. We'll kind of look it up. But going for the Fortress, and it's funny because I was going to mention the Fortress at some point. Fortress got a buff. Fortress got a decent buff on his Lord of Claw. The increased slow on the overdrive has gone from 30% to 40%. Even though the attack in the pack has been increased on cooldown wise up to 100 seconds, the health of the wolves have been increased, which means they are going to do more damage when they are unleashed onto the fold. So yes, you will have to be careful when you do unleash your wolves if you do play either CP or weapon power Fortress. But when you do, if it's a CP Fortress, it's going to be more dangerous. But Koshka picked up.
Koshka.
I swear I love Koshka so much. I do. I really do. But the last pick, I think it's going to be possibly... No, we see it's a Gwen. Interesting stuff. What do you make of the Gwen pickup based on if you are aware of her changes?
I think that's an interesting pick, but I'm looking forward to it. I think being able to have that the skedaddle to get away from that slow, because like you said, the increased slow on Fortress, and that slow from the Achilles shot can just make it so easy for them to slow her down and get onto them. Yes. That having that skedaddle can get her out of that and stay in the backlines a little bit easier, letting Koshka dish out that early damage, that massive damage she gets from the early game, and then have the Grace come in and just protect her while she dishes out that backline damage.
Yeah, and as a last pick, because Fortress can be flexible between the captain and the support, do you think the Fortress is going to be kind of captain, or do you think it's going to be a jungle Fortress? I'm trying to think of it myself. Maybe it could be a Samuel or a Sky, or it could be an aggressive. Maybe it could be Rona Fortress, and then with Ringo and CP in lane, but they've gone for the Ozo.
I kind of like it. Being able to jump between them, dishing out that damage early game, or decent damage early game, but dishing out that damage from the acro bounce, just going back and forth between the heroes, along with the attack of the pack, is just going to be, that's going to be a good way to dish out and just keep up with that Koshka.
Okay, so just to let you all know, at least, the changes of the heroes based on the 2.12 patch that might affect the result of this match. On the Gwen, and in fairness, I'm just reading what is in front of me. I'm trying to remember it all for future situation, but the bookshot has the slow on the bookshot has been reduced to 0%. So if I'm correct, that means her buckshot will not cause a slow when it is activated, which I think when you're against a fortress and even an Ozo, that's slightly, that does take a lot away from Gwen's kit. And the slow strength on a weapon ratio has 0.2%. Again, that is what I'm reading in front of me. On the Aces High, the range has been increased, but that's for 5v5. But the speed of the Aces High has been increased from 16 to 18, which means it's going to be released, and there's going to be essentially less chance of it being blocked, which I think isn't a bad thing when you're against an Ozo that is going to look to jump on you.
Yeah, and the way I see it this way, for all you roam mains out there, it's going to give you more reason to practice and get better with your reflex block timing.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%, especially with the 5v5, those kind of team fight situations going to require so much kind of, reflex and just so much awareness, should I say, to block those stuns. But we are on the fold for this first match. Blake, I think it's just going to be standard rotation, surely, yeah?
Yeah, it looks like it, but I do see that Feroxx is going to be looking for that early engage after they clear their jungle, because you see the Dragon's Blood contract coming out on the Fortress. So that's going to dish out a nice little chunk of early damage along with the slow, and the damage coming out from Ozo and Ringo that early game while they have the Koshka, I think will give them a little bit of a chance to win these team fights early on.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, because I noticed that when I played Fortress in the last patch, we do see that port back coming from Devious Affinity. I think maybe they're just playing it safe. Yeah, it's a mid-century, he's going over to Feroxx, but I think
that flare placement was good because he saw all three of them porting back, so they don't have to worry about it getting stolen. That gives them a free opportunity to get it and not have to worry about anything.
I think they're just worried about the Devious Affinity. They're worried about the early game aggression that can come out from both Ringo and Ozo. Even though Koshka is a great early game hero, I don't think Gwen is quite as good as the Ringo in the early game. So I think that was kind of wise by Devious Affinity, just at least for the first couple of rotations before, let's say, the likes of the Koshka hits her power spike, and then the Gwen can kind of just farm up quite nicely. We're seeing pretty even stuff. I like that Chamu on this Fortress is just supporting the Ringo, and maybe then look to have a decent engage even under third onto the Gwen.
Here goes Ozo and Koshka. Koshka with the Pouncy Fun. The Holy Nova goes off, stuns Ozo, and is going to get nice damage coming out from Koshka, but Koshka is going to get taken down from the three-ring circus, and Ringo to come in and get a basic attack off and finish her off. That's going to be a first blood for Ringo, and the Acro Bounce is going to be able to finish off Grace. 2-0 lead for Team Feroxx there, and that's going to give them great opportunity to possibly invade this jungle if there's anything up, which there is not currently at the moment.
They look to invade the jungle, at least the Ozo and the Fortress. But I think that came down to the fact that Devious Affinity weren't pretty aware, or if they were aware, they should have, responded appropriately. The fact that Ringo and Fortress had pushed the lane, had pushed Gwen's lane, so therefore they were in a far better position to rotate down. And even though it was 2 against 1, when you have the rotations that we saw.
Pouncy Fun followed by the Twirly Death is going to come out. Ringo getting really low. Not quite going to get taken down. Oh my goodness, but is going to finally get taken out by the buckshot. Koshka on a sliver of HP, barely getting out of there. Oh, buddy. But there goes the Acro Bounce. Going to do some nice damage onto Taeshik there. The Holy Nova is going to connect onto the Ozo. Ozo looking to do some nice damage, is about half health, same as Chamu on the Fortress, and they're going to be getting out of there to recover some of that HP.
That Dragon Blood contract is doing really good stuff in these engagements that's come out from the Fortress. I was going to say, like I was saying, I started picking it up myself, Blake, and I noticed a big difference on the early game engagements. You don't necessarily want to keep it the whole game, but for the first 8 to 10 minutes, it makes a big difference on these engagements. It can really help secure a kill, which is important stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Having that, even though the damage output, even when you get to like the 5, 6, 7 minute mark, is not that substantial, that slow can just do so much in a fight for chasing down either a backline hero or someone in the front lines that gets low and is trying to escape. That slow can just do so much for your team and can secure so many of those kills that you might not get otherwise.
Yeah, totally agree. And of course, we'll see when it comes to these 2 or 3 man engagements that are going to come out from Brock. We've seen it. It's worked so far, but this is the early stages of the match. We haven't really seen a proper two.
Oh, the Bangarang coming out, not quite going to get the stun off, doing some nice damage, but a turret shot is going to take him down pretty low. He's sitting there waiting, looking to jump onto the Gwen possibly, but here comes Fortress, Ozo rotating down, looking to catch out the Koshka, but Koshka's like, nope, I'm out of here. You're not getting me. They're going to be able to take the fronts and hit the shop here, and pretty good thing for Team Feroxx.
It was, but it was a great block by Gwen on the skedaddle.
There goes the Truth of the Tooth. Acrobounce coming out is going to get stunned by the Holy Nova, though, but looks like going to be fine. Having the Aftershock, the health regen, the lifesteal coming out from the Ozo, just the increase. There goes the Hellfire Brew. Is going to pop the flask to bulk some of that damage off, and they're going to look to rotate down and take some farm if it respawns in, but it's not going to.
Yeah, in the first 5.5 minutes, I do think Feroxx have a slight better advantage on the. We're seeing when the team fight engagements do happen, even though the likes of the Holy Nova, the Benediction, and even the Buckshot are really helping define Devious Affinity. I just think when it comes to 3-man engagements,
Oh, there goes the Truth of the Tooth. Acrobounce coming out is not quite going to continue it, but getting some nice damage onto the Grace. The Truth of the Tooth and the Achilles shot slowing him down so he can get some nice basic attacks off. Koshka coming up is going to be able to twirly death to get the speed boost and get out of there. Looking to get a nice engagement here. Ringo doing some nice damage onto the turret. Buckshot comes out doing some nice damage, getting really low. Koshka looking for an opportunity to get in there, but is not quite finding that clean, perfect opportunity. Here goes the Holy Nova. Is going to do some nice damage to the stun. The Catnip Frenzy is going to get blocked as well as the Aces High. Bangarang comes out, stuns the Koshka, but the Fountain came out, and that's going to restore a good amount of her HP. The Fortress got melted pretty fast, though. Acrobout's going to do some nice damage. There goes the Hellfire Brew onto the Gwen. Going to hit her full force. No flask to tank some of that damage this time, but looks like they're going to come out for Devious Affinity, 1 kill up in that engagement.
Yeah, look at that absolutely fantastic burst that's coming out from Blanks. Still great engagement.
Buckshot doing some nice damage. Koshka looking to come in, but there goes the Acrobounce. Going back onto the Koshka. Divine Retribution coming down is going to heal her, but she's going to be taken out. There goes the Holy Nova. Going to get the stun on both the Fortress and the Ozo. Ozo looking for the kill, but not quite going to get it, but looks like there might be a turret here for Team Feroxx. That's going to be first turret going for Team Feroxx on side B. Yeah, the Acrobounce coming down is going to finish off the Gwen. Good job, Ozo.
That was great stuff, but it's what I expected from Feroxx in the early stages of this game. The Ozo is just provides so much sustain and so much ability just to get onto the backline. The Koshka, I feel, is just, not is kind of feeling quite stuck in these engagements, whether it could be the position might be just a little bit predictable, but at least so far, the second she tries to engage, the Koshka tries to engage, she's kind of being shut down by both the Ringo, by all three of Brock, and it might just require a better engagement by Devious Affinity just to focus on the Ringo, because at the end of the day, that has to be your focus. The Ozo is too sustainable right now that Ringo needs to be shut down as quickly as possible by all of Devious Affinity.
Yeah, we see the Dragon's Eye coming out already by Ozo, so strong damage coming down. Holy Nova is going to stun Ozo and take the health treant, so a good secure by Grace there.
I want to talk just real quick about those Holy Novas. They have been really clutch Holy Novas.
Truth of the Tooth coming in. There goes the Acro Bounce onto the Grace. The massive damage, but the Catnip Frenzy is going to stun Ozo under the turret. There goes the Hellfire Brew. The turret shot going to do some nice damage. Ozo goes down. Great timed Catnip Frenzy coming out by Astral. Going back in with the Pouncy Fun, but is going to go down to the Ringo. Ringo getting lots of stacks. Gwen goes down, and there goes Grace getting a lot of damage taken. Are they going to be able to get that ace? Going for it. Getting really low. Achilles Shot comes down. One more basic attack will do it. And there goes the Twirling Silver to give him that little bit of speed boost he needed to finish off that kill and get them the ace. Will Blanks get out, though? No, the turret shots are going to finish him off. Oh, man. But the ace was so worth it.
Well, the ace was worth it from a, haha, I killed you, but it wasn't really worth it from, it didn't claim a turret, whereas if they had let the Grace go, and they had to focus on the turret objective, that would have been a greater win for them. However, you can't deny the damage that's coming out from Feroxx, and it's Ringo with this burst. He has Spell Sword, has Breaking Point. It's just massive damage, and the Koshka and the Gwen, even though that was a really great yummy catnip onto the Ozo under turret, which did eventually take down the Ozo, because the Ringo has so much burst, if you don't focus on the Ringo, you're going to just get shut down.
Oh, they're engaging. There's a Pouncy Fun. Nice twirly death. Fortress getting really low, but Ringo dishing out a lot of damage there. Koshka already half health, and Gwen on her way there. Ozo still taking his backs, but looking to rotate up right now. So if they re-engage, they're going to have that backup plan.
Yeah, they will. And that was better coming out from Devious Affinity. They engaged as a three-man team and pushed the Ringo back, but the second the Ringo had a chance to attack, he really did a lot of damage onto both Koshka.
There goes the Acro Bounce going onto the Gwen. Gwen taking a nice amount of damage. Bangarang coming down is going to stun her, followed by the Hellfire Brew. Crucible is going to come out and block the Yummy Catnip Frenzy, and Gwen just taking lots of damage. Gwen finally going down. Ozo getting really low, but is going to be able to boots out. Three-Ring Circus coming back to finish off the Koshka, and that's going to be an ace for Team Feroxx. All three of them still standing. That's going to be a Crystal Sentry down, and they're going to start that gold mine and push that turret. Really great team fight and ace. A lot of things happening for this team.
Yeah, Feroxx just playing it really nicely. It's this dive that's coming out from both Ozo and the Fortress as a two-man team. It's shutting down Devious Affinity, like, not only because it's being a powerful combination of these team fights, but it's creating such a distraction that the Koshka and the Gwen are going onto the Ozo, and it's leaving Ringo so much room just to do this fantastic burst damage. He's on his own. He's taken the enemies down as quickly as possible, and if Devious Affinity can just look to maybe refocus in these team fight engagements, wait a little bit until maybe they get a full build on the Gwen, wait until Astral gets that Atlas that I feel she needs to get. And actually, if Grace kind of ignores defending the Gwen, if that makes sense, yes, as a support, your job is to support your carry. But when you're Grace, Blake, what makes Grace so powerful is that she can get onto the front line with your jungler and shut down the enemy's carry. So that would be more, I believe, far more positive in a team fight. Even if the Gwen goes down, at least if the Ringo goes down, Devious Affinity have a better chance of winning these team fights engagements. That's the way I look at it, as you do see this fantastic rotation, taking down the Crystal Sentry and then just really controlling these team fights.
Yeah, and taking that full rotation with that just coming down into the jungle, getting the sentry, as well as the entire rotations, be really good for Team Feroxx there. And we already see Ringo infused, Breaking Point Spell Sword and Bone Saw, and a full Aegis. He's ready for these fights, and he's ready for that burst damage coming out from the Koshka.
Yeah, 7k goal lead on the side of Feroxx in this 13-minute mark, and they're just ready to engage. Nice scout trap that came out from the Grace, by the way, but we do see.
Yep, Truth of the Tooth coming out is going to go onto the Grace, but she's going to be able to get out, just staying back behind that turret. But we see Team Feroxx looking to push this wave, get a nice fight going on here. They're fed, they have a lot of gold, and they're looking for a fight here.
That basic attack that went on the Grace just as great, ported back, but nice.
Hellfire Brew coming out is going to go onto the Gwen, is not going to be able to block it, so she's going to be taking that burn a little bit. She's going to go back to the Sanctuary, heal up, get rid of that little bit of damage, and they're going to try to defend this turret. Ringo starting to get stacks, getting some nice poke damage off onto that Koshka, up to 2 breaking point stacks right now. Koshka going in with the Pouncy Fun, Twirly Death, is going to block the Aces high, but the Catnip Frenzy is going to land onto the Ringo. Ringo goes down. Ozo trying to do some damage onto the Gwen. Gwen half health, but so is Ozo. Can Ozo pull this off? Holy Nova is not going to land. The Boots is going to get him out of range, and the Acrobounce is going to be able to finish off the Gwen. Popping the Flask, he's able to get out of range of that turret. There goes the Acrobounce over the wall. Pouncy Fun is going to take out the Fortress, but will Ozo be able to 2v1 this? Looks like he will. Acrobounce doing some nice damage. There goes Koshka. Now it's just Grace remaining. 3-ring Circus is going to do some nice damage. Acrobounce is going to be able to finish her off, and that's going to be an ace for Team Feroxx, and he's for sure going to be able to get this turret. Great gameplay by Ozo.
And healing coming out from the Acrobounce and the 3-ring Circus is just unbelievable, and you kind of feel that it's just very hard to shut down. Yeah, and because Devious Affinity, they did such a good job on the engagement. They got onto the Ringo. And also the Divine Intervention went on to Koshka at the perfect time where she was low enough that she got the biggest benefit from that ability and took down the Ringo. But there was just so much sustain and healing coming out from the Ozo that he was just able, our beautiful monkey friend was just able to essentially 3v1 3v2 that whole fight. And
there goes the Acrobounce going onto the Gwen, is going to get stunned by the Holy Nova. There goes the Aces High, is going to stun him again. Koshka going onto the Ringo, doing some nice damage. Yummy Catnip Frenzy is going to get blocked, though, by a Reflex Block. And Ringo is going to be able to dish out enough damage to finish off the Koshka. Is really low, but is going to be able to back off. Looking to do some nice damage. And, oh my goodness, Ozo able to finish off the Gwen. Completely not even paying attention to that fight, but there goes the Hellfire Brew. That's going to be an ace for Team Feroxx. All 3 of them still off. That's going to be an easy Kraken, and that's the last life for the Crystal Sentry coming out for Team Feroxx.
It is, and I feel that is definitely heading towards Feroxx way in this first game. But like I said, Devious Affinity, they are really doing their best in these team fights, especially the last 2 team fights. The focus by the Koshka and the persistence to try and take down the Ringo with the Grace has been perfect. They're doing, like I said, leaving the Gwen on her own, leaving the Gwen to try her best to survive against the Ozo. Even if the Grace was there, the Grace wasn't really going to be, wouldn't be able to do much against the Ozo. But being with the Koshka, as you do see, the Kraken is starting to bear down onto the base of Devious Affinity. At least by the Grace going with the Koshka onto the Ringo, you give your team the best chance to shut down that carry and also take the carry away from the Gwen. So, really good stuff, but Feroxx, that sustain on the Ozo is amazing.
There goes the Acrobounce going, last bounce onto the Koshka. Koshka just getting bursted down so fast. There goes the Divine Intervention, though. Koshka gonna Ringo gonna reflex block the damage, but he's not gonna be able to reflex block the Yummy Catnip Frenzy. But there goes Ozo onto the Gwen. Gwen goes down from the 3rd bounce of the Acro bounce, and 3-ring Circus looking to finish off the Grace, and the Aftershock proc is going to do enough damage to finish her off before she's able to get that regen from the Sanctuary, and that's going to be an ace and game 1 for Team Feroxx.
Absolutely fantastically executed comp that came in for Feroxx. The last pick Ozo surprised me, but it was the perfect choice outside of maybe a Cruel, but at least in terms of to leave the Ringo on the weapon power, Ozo seems like that was the best choice. If Koshka hadn't been picked up, maybe a Koshka, but like I said, we're seeing the fantastic sustain coming out from the Ozo. A total of over a 10k gold lead at the end for Team Feroxx just showed their dominance in every part of that game. Later engagements that came out from Devious Affinity were really good, and I give them full credit, but it's hard to deny, Blake, that it came down to that draft by Feroxx was just beautifully executed at the end.
Yeah, and just the great maneuverability and teamwork coming out from Team Feroxx. You saw they were doing good the early game. They were focusing the Ozo. They were taking a bit of damage, but when they started focusing that Ringo, they were doing a great job. But just what seemed to happen in every single fight, they would either take out the Ozo or they would take out the Ringo. But by the time they took them out, either Koshka or Gwen would go down, and the other one would have stacks enough on their Dragon's Eye or their Breaking Point that they were able to just burst down if it was the Ringo fast enough to get that ace, or Ozo would just be able to sustain so long that he could just quickly and slowly and just quickly knock their health down with that sustain and eventually get that ace.
Yeah, and then it also comes down to which is why I mentioned that at the end of the day, I think what lost it for Devious Affinity was kind of the draft between the last pick that came out from Feroxx, and also I do slightly question the Gwen pickup. I feel that something like maybe an Idris or even a Cruel. I know you might say Cruel, what Lane Cruel, but I say something or Rona, a hero that was going to be able to help that dive comp get onto the Ringo would have shut it down a lot better, because let's not forget Fortress isn't the best at supporting his carry. Which is why the Ozo was the perfect pickup, because the Ozo and the Fortress were just providing so much aggressive play that it was that nobody could really get onto the Ringo strong enough, and because Ringo's quite aggressive, was able to follow it up. But yeah, the Gwen pickup I feel was just a little bit too weak of a choice. Interesting, but it just didn't pay off.
Yeah, but it was really good effort by both teams. You saw some really good plays coming out from both Team Feroxx and Devious Affinity, and I can't wait to see what magic happens in this game too.
Yeah, game 2. Get your hype in chat, guys. By the way, let us know who you want to see win this second game. If you want Feroxx, put hashtag Feroxx. If you want Devious, put hashtag Devious, and support your team. Support the team you want to see win, because the guys, they want to know that the viewers, are supporting, that they have an ally on their side that is potentially a fourth member to give them the motivation they need to drive through to either finish the series 2-0 or take it back 1-0, because it's really important for Devious Affinity just to get a slightly better draft. They do have the last pick, which will play on their side overall in the second draft, but they've got to make it count. They've got to make sure that they pick a comp that will really complement each other, while heroes that, even though it's a new patch, Blake, that are in some way in the meta.
And we're going to see the Arden ban. What do you think of this ban here?
Arden ban, I don't really agree with it coming out from Feroxx. The only thing I can turn on is maybe that it's a throwaway ban. The reason why I don't agree with it, as Vox is banned from Devious Affinity. Nobody wants to see Vox. I want to see
People
Vox
are scared of Vox, and they're breaking my hearts. I want to see a CP Vox come out in one of these games. I'll snap.
Dude, we might see it in the third game, but time will tell if Devious Affinity can take the second. So yeah, Arden got essentially a bit of a nerf, as we do see Lance coming out. Is it going to be this beautifully gold skin, beautifully gold plated Lance that's going to come out onto the fold?
I'm hoping. I want to see him coming out, that shiny armor, ready to do business, ready to just stick his sword in their face and be like, I'm coming for you.
Indeed, man. It's but Lance hasn't really been in the meta too much. In the last patch at least, or even the last couple of patches, with the Batiste being picked out by Devious Affinity, is going to provide a good bit of CC, and I wouldn't say a direct counter to Lance, but can potentially stop Lance from getting an Impale or Githian Wall with both the Ordained and the Fearsome Shade, while providing a lot of AoE damage for his team. Decent pickup, but I don't know if that was the strongest, Blake.
Yeah, I think maybe after seeing what the other choices they get, maybe getting a last pick Baptiste, depending on what the enemy comp is, would have been better. First pick for side B, I think it's not terrible, but I think getting it last, or at least later on after you see that second ban, would be a little bit of a better choice.
The only thing I can think of is if Feroxx doesn't ban the Ringo, which I do feel would be the best choice for them right now, is to take away the Ringo, because I think he's Gwen taken away. Interesting. I'm kind of surprised. Now, if Devious Affinity can pick up this Ringo, that will give them a very strong first two heroes on the fold for the second game, even though they don't quite have a captain. Let's not forget that Batiste rarely, uncommonly, can be played in this captain position.
Yeah, you don't see it very often, but when you do, it is pulled off really well because the utility that he can provide, having that little bit of poke damage with his bad mojo, but the slow coming off of it, and having the ordained stun as well as the fearsome shade, being able to echo that can just be really strong as the captain role.
Yeah, it can. It just provides your team a lot of CC. But however, the Ringo's picked up. I did call it the Ringo. Great choice by Devious Affinity. I think, safely speaking, is the strongest carry, at least known right now after the 2.12 patch. Because, like I said, he barely got changed at all. So he's still very strong. Celeste coming out. Celeste, I do believe, got a little bit of a buff, if I am not mistaken. I'm going to try and look that up and confirm that for you guys. But Lance and Celeste does provide a lot of CC. Impale going into core collapse, Gideon Wall into core collapse. However, it's a combination that requires a lot of synergy, Blake, because it's quite often that the Lance can actually Gideon Wall an enemy hero away from the core collapse. So I think that's going to, if they can pull these combinations off, it's going to show how strong Feroxx are as a team.
Yeah, that's one thing, is you have the safe picks and the strong picks, but when you go with something like a Celeste or a Celeste Lance combo, if you can make that work really well and just pull it off, getting great engages, great combos coming out, you know your team has good synergy, has good team coordination, and you know you have something to work with, and that you can just work together really well to bring this to an end.
Yeah, exactly. Just bring it to an end. That's exactly. But we do see that Cruel has been picked up as the last pick on Feroxx. Oh, I like it.
There's the Taka, which means, like you said, the Captain Baptiste.
I called it, baby. That is really good stuff. So, these comps are really interesting. This is what I like about new patches and new hero changes. Even though not everybody likes them, it breaks up, it makes a change. It refreshes the meta. It refreshes how people see heroes, how people play heroes. We're seeing Lance on the fold in a position where he most likely wouldn't have been in the last patch. Even though we know Lance and Celeste, and even Lance and Cruel can work really well together, because Lance wasn't in the meta in the 2.12 patch. In the previous patch, he wasn't seen. But now the 2.12 patch, we're seeing him, and it could prove a good thing for Feroxx.
Yep, he's definitely a lot stronger, it seems, because he's got a lot more gameplay coming out, and people are learning to play him more. But that motivation, I gotta give it to that skin. And there it is! There's the golden Nether Knight Lance coming out. Oh, snap. He means business. He means business, everyone. Don't meet him in a dark alley, because you might get Githian walled right up against that cement building.
Whoa, what you mean see him in a dark alley? If you see, you're going to easily see him in a dark alley, because that skin is just so shiny and so golden. Absolutely fantastic. But before we go into too much of a hype over this beautiful skin, we're in the second match again, guys. Put that hype in the chat. Viewers, let us all know who you want to see take this second game. If you think it's going to go to Devious Affinity on this interesting Batiste captain position, or you think it's going to go to Feroxx, who's picked fantastic CC, but a lot of synergy required comp of Lance, Celeste, and Cruel.
I got to take a minute to say, Just look at that Lance skin. Is it just me, or does he look like a walking bullet casing holding a sword and a shield?
Oh, Mao, that is a fantastic description. Cameraman, if you could get a little bit of focus before we get into some early action, just focusing on that beautiful skin. Anyway, but no, take us through as we do see this mid-century.
Yeah, we see Taka going in with the Kaku, the Holy Nova coming down. Kroll is going to be able to pick that up. Core Collapse coming down is going to stun the Baptiste, and Baptiste goes down first blood for Team Feroxx. Taka looking to go in for some damage, but the flash comes out from Kroll, and Taka going with the Kaku is going to get out of Kroll's sights, going back around, and he's going to be able to port out of there, it looks like, or maybe go back for some jungle. He's looking to maybe steal some of that jungle from the Kroll. Ooh, yeah. I like his thinking.
Okay, yeah, that is very strong stuff, but no, now it's going to be, okay, this is great counter jungling coming out by Devious Affinity, because he knows that potentially he's not going to take down the Cruel in the early stages, because Cruel is proven to be quite strong. But look how much Ringo's being
and pushed. The Heliogenesis, Ringo getting really low, but the turret shots is going to do its fair amount of damage onto the Celeste as well. But Celeste doing a good job pushing this lane.
This is good by Lance also on the side of Feroxx, just supporting this Celeste, because I think he knows that Cruel can realistically withhold his own, as we do see Feroxx did just spot out the Taka, and I think that is going to tell Cruel that the backs and the fronts have been taken by Taka. But look at this engagement.
And Kroll going in with this perk. You saw how fast, like you were saying, the new buff, how fast his perk comes up, and the movement speed he gains from it is just getting so many Spectral Smite stacks. He's going to be able to pop that Spectral Smite and finish off the Baptiste. That bar just filling up so fast. The perk difference is amazing.
It is, and I think that's going to require, as Celeste takes out the Ringo with the help of Lance. This is good stuff by Feroxx. They're showing their synergy. We're seeing really good stuff. And the Cruel pick, I think, was definitely golden.
Oh, nice get the Wall to knock him out of the Kaku. And Celeste just doing some nice damage. Basic attacks doing its work. There goes the Impale, followed by the Core Collapse. It's going to get the double stun onto the Ringo. Kroll going in, but Ringo's going to be able to get out. Doesn't want to take too much turret damage. He knows he's not going to be able to finish him off. But you see the synergy, the Impale followed by the Core Collapse, just massive damage coming out. Kroll going back in. Spectral Smite not going to finish him off, but the Impale coming out by Chamu. Oh my goodness. Nice stuff working there for the finishing off the kill, but the Kaitin is going to be able to finish him off, and that's going to be a pretty much even trade there.
Yeah, but we do see Mozji is doing her thing by taking the mid-health century, or the front, should I say, of his team, which is good because it helps secure, because Taka, we saw, was actually rotating down to try and get it initially. So, yeah, a bit of a sloppy team fight between both teams, but like, as I said, I'm impressed by Feroxx coming out with this comp. I don't even know how to say his name. Jashion. I'm just going to call him Cruel because it's a little bit easier. I want to see these team fight engagement wins that we're kind of seeing so far from Feroxx turned into kind of objectives, because 4.5 minutes in of this stage of the game. And also, one thing that I was going to point out before we got another engagement is I think Baptiste is going to have to get a lot of vision out there in these bushes because of the buff to Cruel. He's just going to be spamming himself in these bushes only 1 second before his perk is activated, which is absolutely nothing in a kind of a potential teamfight engagement. It's just going to come up like that, and he's going to be able to get onto the enemy team.
Yeah, that harder. Speed boost, it kind of makes you think of a Flicker. Flicker going in and out of the bushes like this way and that. Yep. How often his perk is up, it's like that of the movements from a Flicker. There goes the Hellfire Brew onto the Celeste. No reflex block is going to be used to deflect it. But the Ringo doing some nice damage. There goes the From Hell's Heart, though, followed by the Impale. Get the Inwall, the triple stun going off from Ringo. There goes the Solar Storm. Going to do some nice damage onto the Taka. Kroll is going to be able to finish off the Ringo. And there goes the Kaku. Going to try to get him out of there. He's going to be able to get away. But that's going to be a turret for Team Feroxx, as well as a kill onto the Ringo. Celeste still alive. really good combos coming out from this comp.
It's Chamu on this Lance, man, showing how strong Lance can be in this new patch with the right combination. Those Githian walls have been absolutely clutch. And I just want to talk real quick about Mozji. Interesting that on the Celeste went for a Dragon's Eye first pick, because against Ataka, I would have felt Shatterglass would have been maybe a little bit wiser, simply because Ataka is going to be able to jump on you, especially once he has the likes of the Aftershock. And Dragon's Eye requires a slower team engagement, the ability to poke. And even though the Celeste is able to poke very nicely, especially once she's at that level 8, which she is currently at level 7, so close to that extra range on her Helios. I felt that Shatterglass would have been a little bit safer, because in the
Taka going up. There goes the Exaretsu onto the Celeste. Celeste taking a lot of damage. There goes the Fountain. The Core Collapse not quite going to hit, but the Impale followed by the Githian Wall is going to be able to get Celeste out of there. And Kroll just not worrying about his teammates, knowing they can deal with themselves, and he's going to finish off that Baptiste, doing some nice damage. There goes the Exaretsu, but the from Hell's Heart is going to stun the Taka. Crystal Sentry goes down, but at the cost of Kroll's life. I do believe that is a worth trade, though, because that's going to get 1 life off of the Crystal Sentry and give them a chance to get that extra jungle pressure on once that's eliminated.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that was overall definitely a benefit to the side of Feroxx, even though it didn't play out the way they wanted it to. Simply because the Celeste got so heavily bursted down that it was just they were able to rotate down onto the Cruel. But really good strategy coming out by Feroxx. Cruel holding his own. Has the Poison Shift followed by Shiver Steel. Interesting. Poison Shift still a strong item. Shiver Steel will still provide that attack speed and the slow once activated. But I would like to see a bit more of a tanky build coming out from the Cruel. Maybe something like, definitely an Atlas followed by...
There goes a Heliogenesis. Core Collapse not quite going to connect, but it is going to crowd control that Baptiste a good amount. There goes the From Hell's Heart, is going to stun the Taka, followed by the Impale. The Flask coming out from the Taka, but this Heliogenesis is going to be able to finish him off, and they're looking for a re-engage here. Kroll coming back in. Celeste kind of low, but Fountain is still up by Chamu, so they have a lot of capabilities of getting this engage here. Kroll going down to take out another life from this Crystal Sentry, while Celeste just keeps poking that turret. There goes Ringo going to the backlines. Core Collapse not quite going to connect, but Kroll's going to finish off that Sentry and come back up to this fight. Taka coming back in, though, looking to take that Celeste's life. Kroll going on to the Baptiste, doing some nice damage. Baptiste almost dead. The Spectral Smite not quite going to finish him off, but he's going to use the boots to get in there and take him out. Celeste getting the health regen from the Treant. There goes the Impale, not quite going to connect, but Fountain is still up for Chamu, so they're looking for a good team fight here. Another engage. There goes the Halo Genesis doing some nice damage. Taka just trying to keep his stacks up. There goes the Exaretsu, but is going to get knocked down by the Githian Wall. The Impale going to get blocked by Reflex Block, but the Celeste going to be able to finish him off with a Heliogenesis, and that's going to be another kill. There goes the Boomerang coming out. Is going to get blocked, but the damage output is enough to finish off the Ringo, and they're looking to take this turret. Going to be easy takedown. Baptiste not going to be able to do enough to fend them off, and that's going to be second turret for Team Feroxx. Great engagement by them.
Yeah, great kind of pressure to put down, and they got the objective eventually, but I actually felt if they had have gone to the gold mine, they could have actually taken gold mine as well, because I think at this stage, Define and Devious Affinity are just a little bit scared to engage, because they know that there's so much damage and pressure coming out, and the CC from all three of Feroxx is just kind of causing them so much hassle. And I was thinking of like, obviously I'm kind of looking at the builds coming out from the Cruel and Celeste, and I've mentioned different things, and let's say trying to question what could be better, but they are playing so well as a team that right now it doesn't matter what they have built in terms of what could be potentially a little bit better, because they are getting the team fight engagements off absolutely perfectly between the Impales, between the Solar Storms, between the Heliogenesis. It's just fantastic stuff that we are seeing from Feroxx.
And the comment about possibly getting the gold mine, I think that is a great comment, but I like how I think that what they were thinking is getting that second turret down as well, the Crystal Sentry, getting it down to its last life, it puts more pressure onto Devious Affinity. And they're able to get that. They were able to get that gold mine, no contest from the other
Yeah.
team, because they're so, like you said, they're so scared to go into these team fights because they have a lot more synergy and a lot more crowd control in these fights, and just the damage coming out. There goes the From Hell's Heart, is going to get dodged by the Chitin though, but the Githian Wall is going to stun Taka. Fountain coming out from Baptiste. Baptiste at full health, but Taka getting really low, going Exoretsu onto the Celeste, but the Solar Storm going to hit him full force as he goes in. Heliogenesis coming down. There goes the Core Class followed by the Gethian Wall. Ringo goes down, and they're going for the triple. There goes the triple from Celeste. Gonna get the ace, and they're gonna be able to get that choke point turret after already getting that gold mine. There goes the last life from the Crystal Sentry is followed by the choke point turret. They're looking to push this for more turrets, though, possibly even taking both of them out. The damage output is just insane. Taka going in, but I think they kind of know that this might be over. There goes the Impale onto the Ringo, rooting him. Taka going down. Solar Storm going to hit him full blast again, and he's going to go down. Ringo taking massive damage from the Heliogenesis, and he goes down as well. That's going to be game 2 for Team Feroxx. Oh my goodness.
That was insane stuff coming out from Feroxx. Great push, 12-minute match. They amassed over a 10k goal lead in that 10 minutes. Their execution of this comp, I said it was triple CC, it was triple danger, it was triple disgusting levels of play that came out from Team Feroxx in the second match. You know, just really excellent stuff. Shamu didn't even have a chance to finish Echo. That game went by so quickly. I liked the Devious Affinity's kind of plan, putting the Baptiste onto support, but it just didn't work out because as good as Baptiste can be, it's just not the same strong frontline support that was realistically needed. What I think, at least initially thinking, would have been better coming out from Devious is if they had picked up Catherine last pick, which would have helped provide a slightly decent or better counter CC wise to Feroxx comp, as well as putting Baptiste on that jungle, providing better AoE damage and better chance of shutting down the Celeste in the mid-late game, and actually even being able to poke out the Cruel with the likes of the Dragon's Eye Clockwork build. So yeah, interesting by Devious Affinity, but I just don't think it was at least the right situation to play that comp. Feroxx,
yeah, and like you were saying with the synergy coming out from Team Feroxx, you saw a lot of those fights. There was so much combos going on. A lot of those fights, Fountain wasn't even popped by Shamu. They were just doing so well with the synergy between the team that they were melting them down faster than they were getting melted and didn't need to pop that Fountain half the time.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, and yeah, that's and Shamu. I want to talk about how nicely he waited until the Fountain was really needed to use it, and also the Solar Storms in that late game were just immense. Going onto the Taka, there was nothing Taka could do. Just really excellent stuff by Feroxx. I don't think there's really much more that can kind of really be said about this game. I'm gonna leave it to as far as give me any last words before I close this game out, Blake.
Oh man, just such a great match to watch, and glad all of you could come out and enjoy this with us. Just the great gameplay, the massive plays, and all of the just domination coming out in some of these team fights from both sides. Just a great thing to cast and watch, and glad you can enjoy this